Now at 9, the longest government shutdown could be ending. We have the details.
And a new ruling has been reached over SNAP funding. See what is happening going forward.
Plus, one local organization is helping families get produce. See their impact behind the mission.
And see how one high school student is doing it all.
And we woke up to our first snowfall of the season today. Noah Gordon has more.
Local news about local people, live from.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Josh Gabbard.
And I'm Abby Urban.
Abby, when they said a little bit of snow, the gales of November came early this morning.
So much snow. I came out to like 2 inches, and I was like, this is not real today. I was like, but it's fine. But NewsLink Indiana's Noah Gordon is live at Frog Baby, braving the cold and a little bit of that snow, to give us more details about that first snowfall of the season.
Yeah, guys, there's really only one way to describe this weather out here, and that is cold here. We're currently 25 degrees in Muncie. The wind chill even colder, 15 degrees outside. We've got a west wind that's really been with us the entire time we've been out here, and it's going to stick with us through the night here, going to feel 10 or 15 degrees cooler than what the actual temperature is. You know, so as we head into tomorrow, Veterans Day, I know we got a lot of ceremonies, a lot of memorials tomorrow. Definitely give yourself time if you're headed out early to an 8 a.m. class or something like that. Add that and make sure into your morning commute. You're going to want to make sure you warm up that car. Make sure to have a heavy jacket, some gloves, and even a hat here because it's going to remain windy throughout the day. Another thing, make sure to be careful if you're driving. We know on overpasses, things like roadways. Even we're starting to see on concrete out here the ice beginning to accrete again as things refreeze overnight here. So you're definitely going to want to watch out for all sorts of stuff like this tonight, especially because it's going to be a slick commute tomorrow morning. But this winter weather only lasts for about 36 more hours here as we begin to see a big warm-up, not only into the end of this week, but also into that final Ball State homecoming, or Ball State football game, I should say, as we head into the weekend. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Noah. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history might be approaching the end. That's after the Senate voted to advance a stopgap funding bill last night.
The chamber is set to work on amendments to it today. The agreement is a compromise between centrist Democrats and Republicans.
It does not extend expiring Obamacare subsidies. Many Democrats opposed it. Republicans do agree to a vote on the subsidies by early next month. The bill funds much of the government through January. The broader deal has longer provisions for military construction and veteran affairs, the legislative branch, and agriculture. The plan funds SNAP through September for federal workers. The agreement ensures shutdown back pay. It reverses recent mass firings and prohibits any more this fiscal year. If the plan becomes law, federal employees like air traffic controllers will get paid again.
Yesterday, a federal appeals court ruled the Trump administration must pay full food stamp benefits for tens of millions of Americans in November. It's the latest ruling in the administration's effort to provide only partial funding for food stamps, formerly called the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. On Thursday, a U.S. district judge ordered that funding for full November SNAP benefits be released by the end of Friday. On Friday, the administration pressed the appeals court to scrap that order. When the appeals court declined, the administration asked the Supreme Court to intervene. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson agreed to temporarily pause the order, but yesterday's appeals court ruling now tees up another round of legal wrangling before the Supreme Court.
The word legacy means healing for this local nonprofit. The family-run organization is helping families in Muncie access fresh produce. NewsLink Indiana's Amelia Winter went to the experience to see the impact it could have on you.
Megan Bennon has had a green thumb since she was a little girl and has continued to garden her entire life. In 2020, she moved from Dayton, Ohio to Muncie and immediately noticed the food desert.
I was at the local Walmart, here on the south side, and there was no produce on the shelves. And I've never seen that before. There was nothing in the store. So while I'm in there, I'm viewing that like, oh, this is crazy. But there were other people walking in. It was really like a despair looking. Just like there's nothing, but there was no hope of anything coming.
That's when Megan transformed her family's garden into Legacy Gardens and Agriculture Experience, a two-part nonprofit organization and the first fresh produce distribution in Muncie. Megan says the food distributions have helped 60 families per week, equaling 250 families a month in Muncie.
Look up and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of people. And I feel in myself, I feel there's so many more. You know, like that, I guess maybe that's a driving factor for me, is like, while I'm content with what I'm doing, I'm like, oh, this is great. I feel like the need is so much bigger.
Megan's mission for Legacy goes beyond food. She wants to educate the community on the importance of agriculture.
Have your educational wing where there's learning that can be happening. And I don't mean just once a month or in the summertime. I mean every week. I would like to see classes coming through and see the hands-on process, but also create the heartbeat of growth, food sustainability here in Muncie.
Megan plans to transform Legacy into a marketplace to serve as a community food hub, to distribute fresh produce and eliminate food deserts in the area. In Muncie, Amelia Winter, NewsLink, Indiana.
Legacy Experience is the first food distributor in Muncie since 2022. There are many ways you can get involved in their mission. To learn more, visit legacy.org.
How much free time do you have in a day? This is a question NewsLink Indiana's Daniel Huber asked to a student at Wapahani High School who has a to-do list that you won't envy.
Every Wednesday, high school senior Kendall Carpenter attends a student council meeting. She plays a big role as she created and leads the school pride committee. But student council isn't the only thing she does.
I'm in various clubs like Riley Club, and that's a club that raises money for Riley Hospital, and we do fundraisers and stuff. And then I'm in student council, NHS, SSAT, which is the student advisory team for the superintendent.
Not to mention soccer matches, softball, volunteer work at our local church, yearbook, and all the while maintaining a 4.18 GPA.
When I do something, I make sure I do it to my fullest potential, because then I feel like there's no point in doing something without giving it your all. So I feel like my work ethic is very, very dedicated and passionate.
Seeing her throughout her journey is English teacher Frankie Zile.
Kendall was always very sweet and cooperative and such, but she was a little bit quiet. But through the years, she has really grown a lot. And I think a lot of that has been just her involvement in different activities.
And there are other students with Carpenter's schedule.
It is something that we see a lot, not just with Kendall, but with lots of our students, where they are in a ton of activities because we're at a smaller school. And so the opportunity is there, but also I think there's a sense of responsibility that a lot of these kids have.
And for those students, those people who seem to have too much on their plate, Carpenter has some words of wisdom.
It's not the end of the world if something is not completed either, but when you do want to get everything done, just take a minute to look at everything and try to organize everything you have. Most of the time you do have time to get it all done. Just looking at the big picture kind of stresses you out.
Because the big picture may look like a collage. In Muncie, Daniel Huber, NewsLink, Indiana.
Carpenter's hard work has been recognized. In October, she became a member of Pride Mark Construction's Future Leaders of America series.
Coming up, see which one of Trump's former cabinet members has been pardoned.
And hear about why Trump is requesting an overturn for a civil case against him.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Welcome back. President Donald Trump is helping his allies who supported his alleged plan to overturn the 2020 election results. A Justice Department spokesperson says he's given them, quote, full, complete, and unconditional pardons, end quote, from federal charges. Trump's lawyers, Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, and his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, are on the list. So are some of his co-defendants who were charged for trying to subvert Trump's 2020 loss. The pardon explicitly states it does not apply to Trump himself.
President Trump is taking his fight with magazine columnist E. Jean Carroll to the U.S. Supreme Court. Today, Trump asked the High Court to overturn the $5 million civil judgment against him. Last year, a federal appeals court affirmed the jury's verdict that Trump sexually abused and defamed Carroll. His lawyers argue the judge in that trial made a number of errors. Trump's legal team also says there were no eyewitnesses, no video evidence, and no police report or investigation into the alleged assault. As of this evening, the appeal had not yet been formally docketed at the Supreme Court.
President Donald Trump is threatening to sue the BBC for at least $1 billion. In a legal letter sent today, Trump says the British broadcaster defamed him in a 2024 documentary about his campaign. The threat follows the BBC's admission it made a serious, quote, error of judgment, end quote, in how it edited Trump's January 6, 2021 speech to supporters on the ellipse. Two top executives with the broadcaster have already resigned. The scandal has gripped British media and has reignited a political fight over the BBC's funding and future. The BBC said it's reviewing Trump's letter and will respond in due time. President Trump also has pending lawsuits against the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and the Des Moines Register.
The Supreme Court agreed today to decide whether states may count mail-in ballots received after Election Day. They're taking up a Republican-led lawsuit that could affect election laws in more than a dozen states across the country. 15 states allow regular mail-in ballots to be accepted after Election Day, but most of the nation's battleground states require ballots to be received by Election Day. The case is over a Mississippi law enacted during the pandemic that allows ballots to be received up to 5 days late. That's as long as they're postmarked by Election Day.
And how long will that snow outside stick around? Find out coming up after the break.
After his wife passed, my neighbor Larry started drinking a lot. He was in distress and acting out. He had guns around, and I didn't want anything bad to happen. I pressed pause. Our local authorities filed a firearm restraining order to temporarily remove the guns. It gave Larry the time he needed to get help. It wasn't easy, but we got through it together. Learn more at illinois.gov/pause to heal.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back. Our first snow of the season here in East Central Indiana. It was a pretty healthy snow. In fact, it was more than what we had predicted when we forecast for you last on Thursday night. We see most of the region got 2 to even 3 inches here over in portions of northern Madison County here. 2 inches in Newcastle, 2 inches in Winchester, a part of a broader swath of snow that saw a lot of 2-inch totals around central Indiana. But another thing that we got to keep in factor that we were talking about outside earlier is these wind chills, making it feel even colder outside. Newcastle this morning felt like 14 degrees. Marion felt like 15. Muncie here in the metro felt like 17 degrees this morning. So it may read right around freezing on that thermometer, but it's going to be a lot cooler. And speaking of those temperatures, the entire region now below freezing. 23 the cool spot at Richmond, 27 at Portland, 26 at Muncie. Most of central Indiana under that freezing mark, which is going to make that snow stick around here overnight and going to cool us down right around to that 20-degree mark here. Flurries off and on with that west wind at about 15 miles an hour. I wouldn't expect more heavy snow, but really that wind is going to blow that snow around, especially if you're headed out anywhere early tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, we're talking about these wind chills once again tomorrow morning down in the teens. Feels like 16 degrees at Portland, 15 at Winchester, 16 at Muncie. 8 a.m. if you're headed out early for anything, including those classes, you're definitely going to want to bundle up, have that coat, those gloves, maybe even a hat if you're headed out, maybe even a scarf too. Might as well add that on the top. You see here as we head throughout Tuesday afternoon, the temperatures and the feels like temperatures struggle to even get above freezing. So that snow is going to stick around and it's going to feel bitterly cold here, and we don't see this feels like temperatures really recover until we get to Wednesday afternoon, and that's also when we're expecting to see a lot of that snow actually melt. Now, for your Veterans Day, there's really no easy way to cut it. It's going to be cold, it's going to be very blustery, it's going to be very snowy out there. Not expecting any new snow, but here 9 a.m. 28 degrees with those cloudy skies, 35 degrees at 1 o'clock, maybe a small chance of a flurry or two out there. No significant impacts, 37 degrees as you're headed home, maybe a little bit of that snowfall. But the big thing here is we're going to see this cold air begin to move out by the time we get to the end of the week, and these much more milder, these much warmer colors begin to move into the Midwest and into our region, which is really going to give us a taste of that weather whiplash as we head further into the week. And speaking of that weather whiplash, almost a 30-degree swing here from Tuesday to Saturday. 37 degrees for your Veterans Day with snow flurries throughout the day. Saturday, as you're headed out to maybe that football game, maybe any other events, 61 degrees, pleasant with that warm south wind here. So it is going to feel like winter and both spring in the same week, I should say here. We take a look at that week on our 7-day forecast. Veterans Day, 37, Wednesday, 46, Thursday, 53, Friday, 56, Saturday, 61, and then Sunday, 67, almost 70 degrees here in the middle of November, almost 20 degrees above average, but with that comes a cold front moving into the region, cooling us back down to 54 on Monday. And, you know, honestly, guys, I like snow. I come from a place that really doesn't get that much snow. I know you guys maybe a little bit closer to the lake and more accustomed to this, so tell me more.
I get a lot of snow back home. We're big fans of lake effect snow in Chicago. So like we're used to either having no school at all or school. So it was really weird. We were talking about 2-hour delays. We don't have that in Chicago. It's either you have school or we don't.
And it's really crazy to think about the fact that we might be wearing shorts by the end of the week. I know that sounds crazy to us right now, but we might have shorts on Friday.
Yeah, you mentioned going to that home football game. It's going to be prime football weather.
Exactly,
again,
yeah.
All of a sudden, just that weather whiplash. That you can't describe that any better.
I kind of would have liked the snow for Saturday, honestly.
You know,
just for funsies.
There's always a good snow action game. Normally it's on the weekdays. It's typically that Wednesday night game.
It was cold Wednesday, I will say. It wasn't
no snow, though.
No snow.
No snow, though.
I mean, but last year we had rain. So, I mean, it could have been snow, but thank you so much, Noah.
Well, thank you, Noah. There's lots more to get to on NewsLink Indiana. Stephen Grotta has a preview of sports.
Thanks, Josh and Abby. One Ball State team sits atop the rankings and a scandal shakes up the MLB. All this and more next in sports.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health.
Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We can't play about our future or our finances. Make moves, set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up, stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. pregame to greater things. This is Pretirement.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Stephen Grotto with sports. As their regular season comes to a close, the Ball State women's volleyball team clinched the 1 seed in the MAC tournament. The regular season champions currently sit at 15-1 in conference play on their season. The Cards are led by sophomore Carson Tyler, who sits at 4th in the nation in kills with 442. The Cards are also on pace to have their best conference record since 2021, when the team went 17-1. The Cardinals will play their last regular season game on Friday against Central Michigan in Worthen Arena. Going from the court to the shoe, a Ball State player has reached a career milestone for the first time. NewsLink Indiana's Michael Baugh has more on this milestone.
The quarterback position is one of the most important positions on a football field. Every good team has a good quarterback, and this year's Ball State Cardinals is one of those teams. At the start of last season, Kyle Kelly was not even listed as a quarterback on the depth chart, and now this season, he has surpassed 1,000 passing yards for the first time in his collegiate career. The one thing that Kyle Kelly has kept true to himself this whole time is his confidence.
The confidence instilled in me from way before the season even started. It's just, if that was the coaches or my teammates, just everybody just believed in me, even when, you know, last year I barely played. You know, I'm at a position that I didn't play at all last year. So
Kelly is not worried about the stats that he puts up at the end of every game. All he cares about is winning the game week in and week out.
I want to win stuff like records like that, or milestones like that, to translate onto the field and to win. So as long as we're winning, I'm good, honestly.
This quarterback is not the only person who cares more about winning than stats. Coach Juremowicz is the same way.
That obviously you got to have production, but there's never been one meeting since there's not been one meeting since I've been here that I put one stat up on this PowerPoint back here other than touchdowns and turnovers.
And when the game came down to potentially the Cards' final offensive play Wednesday night versus Kent State, Kyle Kelly showed off his passing ability one more time to win the game. In Muncie, Michael Baugh, NewsLink Indiana.
Keeping it on the gridiron, former NFL player Antonio Brown has been extradited back from the U.S. to Dubai to face an attempted murder charge. Police say Brown is currently being held in Essex County, New Jersey, and is awaiting extradition to Miami. In May, Brown was allegedly involved in an altercation with a man at a boxing event. Security video shows Brown running after someone, then gunshots are heard. Brown was then detained but not arrested because police could not locate a victim. An arrest warrant was issued in June. Batting it to the diamond, 2 pitchers with the Cleveland Guardians are in hot water with the law. Investigators say Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz are facing charges in a betting scheme that involved Major League Baseball games. The league placed both players on leave this past season while authorities investigated the sports betting allegations. Investigators allege Ortiz and Clase provided inside information to the gamblers on types and speed of pitches they would throw in the game. Authorities arrested Ortiz yesterday in Boston, while Clase is still not yet in custody. Let's talk about that women's volleyball team we've got. I mean, an incredible season. Doesn't matter who their opponent is. it's looking pretty likely they're going to win.
I feel like this volleyball team does this year after year after year. They just keep winning, and they just keep proving it out of Worthen.
And they bring such an energy to Worthen. It's incredible. I've been to a couple of the games. They're so much fun to watch. I mean, really watching any Cardinals team recently has been it's been fun. There's so much energy. It's just been a great time. I'm excited. It's going to be a good game, I think.
It's really easy to bring the energy and bring the wins when you have a player like Carson Tyler, who is just absolutely dominating in every statistical category, especially kills, being 4th in the nation.
442, that's a lot of kills, and she was doing it last year as well. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Coming up, how families are honoring the 50th anniversary of the shipwreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
And we have one final look at your weather next.
My son, Ricky, took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me in ways that I never knew that I could be broken. And I contemplated suicide. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe. Store your gun securely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over. Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together. It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today marks the 50th anniversary of the shipwreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. The largest freighter on the Great Lakes at the time, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald sank in a storm on Lake Superior. Dozens gathered at Split Rock Lighthouse for the annual remembrance ceremony and lighting. Family members who lost loved ones on the Fitzgerald and at the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum in the Upper Peninsula, they will once again ring the bell 29 times to honor them. Among them, Debbie Shampoo, who was just 17 years old when her father, Oliver Buck Shampoo, was lost aboard the SS Edmund Fitzgerald.
It's very special. It's a piece of where they were. It's the last thing I feel they heard, that bell going off.
The wreckage of the Edmund Fitzgerald has been designated a gravesite by the Canadian government. We had some icy weather ourselves here, but nothing will compare to the icy waters of Lake Superior.
Honestly, this newsroom has been absolutely enraptured by this news of the Edmund Fitzgerald tonight. There's been music. There's been a lot.
I should have made it my alarm clock this morning. The Gordon Lightfoot song has definitely got me through the cold weather today.
Yeah. Noah, that cold weather, is that going to stay?
Yeah, you certainly felt the gales of November today if you were out driving or walking, but the good thing is we kind of have two seasons this week. You know, the 7-day forecast here is going to be a mix of both winter and somehow spring, even though we're in November. 37 with snow showers tomorrow for your Veterans Day, 46 on Wednesday, 53. Thursday, Friday, clouds reveal some warmer weather this weekend, 61 and then 67 on Sunday. 40% chance of rain, though, in the afternoon as that begins to kind of get us back towards normal November weather, not snow, not 70 degrees, just normal, cool fall weather.
Thank you, Noah. That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page, YouTube channel, and WCRD 91.3.
And for news anytime, anywhere, just go to cardinalmediabsu.com. Have a great night and stay safe.